By now, many are aware of the dark and dangerous history of the terrorist-sponsored group known as the Muslim Brotherhood. The topic was covered in a previous special guest production called Inside the Mind of the Muslim, which exposed their shell game that perpetuates, enables, and disguises their lifestyle of terrorist activity, intolerance, bondage, inhumane governance, and punishments. It is a well-established fact that Sharia law encompasses a belief and practice of slavery, murder, denial of human rights, especially for women, and outright deception. If Dr. Grace Vuoto from the Edmund Burke Institute for American Renewal in Washington, D.C. says abortion is the Holocaust of our time, then it shouldn't be a stretch for one to call Islamic law and liberalism the runners-up. It shouldn't come as a surprise that the Muslim Brotherhood was banned in Egypt from holding political power by the ousted Mubarak regime, and since the overthrow, as predicted by most conservative talk show hosts, the Brotherhood has now been set free to roam and devour. Now that Egypt has its second chance to get it right and close the door on a dictatorship to form a democratic government, the Muslim Brotherhood is stubbornly sticking their oversized foot in that closing door in the attempt to establish Islam as the new dominant political force in Egypt. Only a matter of days after their recent pledge not to seek political power and run a candidate in the upcoming election, the Muslim Brotherhood blatantly are slating a candidate in Egypt's presidential elections. The following is a quote taken from an article about the now presidential candidate Dr. Futuh from the Washington Post titled, "Democracy Supporters Should Not Fear the Muslim Brotherhood." Quoting Abdel-Moneim-Abul-Futuh and dated Wednesday, February 9, 2011. Clearly, this article documents one of the many broken promises by Dr. Futuh and the Muslim Brotherhood. Quote, "The Brotherhood has already decided not to field a candidate for president in any forthcoming elections. We want to set the record straight so that any Middle East policy decisions made in Washington are based on facts and not the shameful and racist agendas of Islamophobes." Running on an Islamic victimhood and reformist platform, Dr. Abdel-Moneim-Abul-Futuh claims he is running as an independent. He claims he has no backing from the Muslim Brotherhood and wants to mend strained relations with other competing religions. Whoa, not so fast, Doctor. There have been warnings in Egypt for decades that the Islamic-based Muslim Brotherhood power grab attempt will be made by a Brotherhood sympathizer who will run as an independent. Now you suddenly break from the role as a leader of the Muslim Brotherhood to run as an independent and claim you have no backing or association with the group? Not sure if the ordinary Egyptian is going to buy that bridge. Who does this doctor think he's fooling? Yet, who is doing anything about it? Where is the outrage? It has been reported that the Muslim Brotherhood will hold an enormous amount of influence by securing the largest bloc in the newly formed parliament. So to add an Islamist president to the political landscape in these conditions would certainly further erode any chance for a balanced and representative form of government. Let us not forget our world history. When historians interviewed senior German government officials after World War II, they were all asked why and how it was that they permitted Hitler and his party to make such political gains and accommodations. Their answers were, "We thought we would be able to keep him under control." On the other side of the Egyptian political scene, a familiar, popular, and prominent private sector figure has surfaced. Egyptian telecom tycoon, Forbes number 60, world's most wealthy billionaire, and Egypt's second wealthiest man, Najib Sawiris. Mr. Sawiris has founded and launched a new political party called Al-Masarin Al-Ahrar, or the Free Egyptians. Sawiris is the founder of this new party. However, he will not take the role of leader and instead will settle for being on the board of trustees and contends that Egypt needs a party in power who is all-inclusive, non-religious based, and pro-capitalism. This is the Egyptian equivalent to our Donald Trump with substantial business experience and as considered by many to be a hero of sorts and highly admired. The intolerance and violent nature of Islam has already been demonstrated by the recent and unprovoked killings of Christians and the attack on a Christian church and Christian-owned apartment buildings in Cairo, Egypt. It appears that many Egyptian Islamists can hardly wait to make Sharia the law of the land, and in anticipation of Futuh's election cannot refrain from their deadly trade of murder and violence, prematurely shining a mere single column of light on what lies in wait for Egypt.